Hey there, folks, it's Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and I'm here to take you on a journey through the highlights of this incredible conversation I had with Lex Fridman in his podcast. We'll explore some thought-provoking topics and dive into the depths of curiosity, moral courage, proxy wars, and the importance of seeking truth. So buckle up and let's get started. But before we start, let me tell you something. This 2-hour episode was actually summarized in less than 10 minutes using PodFast, the most advanced AI content summary tool out there. Anyways, here are 10 key takeaways from our conversation. Key idea number 1, curiosity and moral courage as tools for navigating challenges. You know, one thing I've always admired is curiosity. My uncle, John F. Kennedy, believed that curiosity was the most important quality a person could have. He had this incredible ability to put himself in the shoes of his adversaries, allowing him to navigate through some of the most challenging situations with empathy and understanding. It's like he could walk in their shoes, you know? And that's a powerful metaphor. Empathy is what helps us resolve conflicts and build relationships, even in the face of adversity. Key idea number 2, moving beyond simplistic depictions of world leaders. Now let's talk about Vladimir Putin. You see, we often fall into the trap of painting world leaders with broad brushstrokes, especially when it comes to Putin. But we need to move beyond those simplistic depictions. Putin isn't some insane Russian leader hell-bent on restoring the Soviet Empire. The conflict in Ukraine didn't happen out of the blue. There's a history of provocation by the West, particularly the expansion of NATO towards Russia's borders. We need empathy and dialogue, not isolation and demonization, to resolve conflicts. Key idea number 3, questioning U.S. involvement in proxy wars. You know, I have some concerns about the current proxy war in Ukraine. I question the true intentions behind U.S. involvement. It feels like there's a geopolitical agenda at play, using the war as a tool to weaken Russia. But what does that achieve? More death and suffering? We need to return to diplomatic negotiations and peaceful resolutions. Let's not forget that Ukraine, just like Mexico trying to beat the United States in a war, cannot defeat Russia militarily. It's time to find a peaceful approach. Key idea. Number 4, leadership in times of crisis. Leadership is crucial in times of crisis. Look at the Cuban Missile Crisis and my uncle, President John F. Kennedy. The world was on the brink of a nuclear catastrophe, and his decision-making saved us all. Those missile emplacements in Cuba were like loaded guns, ready to fire. But Kennedy had the courage to challenge his advisors, to question and examine aerial photos and make the right choices. It's like walking a tightrope, making those split-second decisions that can change the course of history. Key idea number 5, transparency and regulation in AI and the pharmaceutical industry. Transparency and regulation are vital, whether we're talking about artificial intelligence or the pharmaceutical industry. Just imagine an old telephone where leaders could talk directly to foster trust instead of distrust. That's what we need, open communication. The pharmaceutical industry, well, let's just say it's riddled with corruption. Those companies prioritize profit over public well-being. We need strong regulations and a regulatory structure free from financial entanglements to protect society's interests. Key idea number 6, the slippery slope of journalistic integrity. Journalistic integrity is vital, my friends. We can't sacrifice it and manipulate the public. Journalists should be informants, not manipulators. Let's label misinformation and embrace the values that represent left-wing politics, protecting the environment, supporting the vulnerable, restoring the middle class, advocating for peace. We need to regain our moral authority in the world, focusing on helping the poor and projecting economic power instead of engaging in endless wars. It's time for a course correction. Key idea number 7. Self-deception and dangers of unchecked power. We're all prone to self-deception, and that's dangerous, especially when people in powerful positions go unchecked. We tend to judge ourselves based on intentions rather than actions. But let's talk about the pharmaceutical industry. They've done some questionable things, harming humanity. It's like they've become serial felons, putting profit above all else, falsifying science, downplaying risks. The opioid epidemic is a prime example. We need strong regulations and a social purpose to prevent harm and hold them accountable. Key idea number 8, vaccine safety and open debate. Vaccine safety, it's a controversial topic, but we must have open debates. Placebo-controlled trials are essential for medicines, but vaccines have been lacking in that department. Statistically, certain vaccines increase the likelihood of death in the months following administration. We need to question this, to have open discussions based on evidence-based science. That's why I confronted Dr. Fauci and Dr. Collins, leading to a lawsuit against the Department of Health and Human Services. We need transparency and a commitment to safety. Key idea number 9, overcoming addiction and finding spiritual alignment. Let me share something personal with you. I've battled addiction, and finding spiritual alignment played a significant role in my recovery. Historical figures like St. Augustine, St. Paul, and St. Francis inspired me. They transformed their lives through spiritual realignment. You see, I discovered Carl Jung and his belief in synchronicity. It's like an intervention from a higher power, defying natural laws. Surrendering to something greater and serving others brings alignment and a sense of purpose. It's a miracle, my friends. Key idea number 10, seeking truth, responsibility, and personal transformation. Seeking the truth, taking responsibility, that's what it's all about. It's like President Kennedy once said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. We can't blame others, we must seek the right answers ourselves. Let's focus on facts, science, and personal transformation. It's time to challenge the narratives, to advocate for peaceful solutions and a better future. Remember, my friends, the power to change lies within each of us. I hope I've shed some light on these topics and encouraged you to explore them further. Remember, curiosity, empathy, and seeking truth are the tools we need to navigate challenges and build a better world. Stay curious, stay engaged, and keep seeking the truth. Thank you for listening to this podcast of my conversation with Lex Fridman. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. See you next time.